Have a great game, everyone.
Bye.
No, you.
No, you.
That's when you take us live without a countdown.
Yeah. That's what
Thanks,
I did.
Aaron.
You're welcome. You know what? I'm gonna be crazy and I'm gonna put the fan on. Just call me crazy. I need
You don't
air.
have a fan.
You're crazy.
Freaking nuts.
I know. I need. I need air circulation in
He's
this.
wild and
I
unhinged.
get the air circulation thing, but I'm gonna like put a ceiling fan on one, not like point it at my face.
Yeah, I put it on low, but I just need. I felt like the air was just like like that.
That's because you're haunted.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Thank you for figuring that out for me.
By a hunter who lives in your wall.
Haunted Hunter.
True. This is the back of Aaron's wall.
Purple one wants
That
to-
butterfly lights up every time his head touches the pillow.
It's so romantic, right?
It's sort of like the movie Parasite, kind of with the lights going
Yeah.
on.
That's where I got the idea.
Oh my gosh. I feel like I'm in danger. I'm also looking for my freaking little like background light effect thing. This thing, but it's not this one. This one I think is something
Hey, I
back
have that
there.
one.
I think it controls either, doesn't it?
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
I started the lights up there.
Mhm.
Well, good to know that that's what this one does. Turn that off. Off. Will you? Okay, well, you're on now. All right, whatever. Here we are, guys. I forget that we were already going.
Off. Damn
Off.
spotlight.
Yeah, it's fine.
Good one.
Don't worry about it. It's all good.
Relatable content.
Very relatable. You ever had that moment? But all right. Well, here we are, ready for another exciting adventure in the age of mythologies, or is it history? Who knows? Who knows? But the shadow, and we are all the shadow. I don't know where I was going with that. Don't mind you.
How
Don't
much
mind
wine
me.
did you have?
A cup?
Is the shadow monster just going to be Alec Baldwin? Because I'm kind of into that.
Oh no.
It is one of the bald ones.
There's so many.
Each eye is from a different Baldwin.
Oh no. How big was a normal size? One standard unit measurement of wine? I
You're
was
a standard unit.
Of measurement.
A tall drink of Aaron? What?
How tall are you? Like 1 3/4 Aaron.
one actually that is something that LV tried to establish at one point. It was I was like, what is flashing in my background? It is
If you
one
hit eight,
one
it
unit.
turns solid.
Yeah, but it's not listening to me now. It's just stuck on
You're
random
turning on things in
demonstration.
my room.
That would be
This
amazing.
would have been a good moment for that butterfly light to turn on.
Would have been amazing.
You missed a cue.
Dude, for real, that
I
would have
don't
been
have
great.
the-
That's all right. On the break, I'll go turn it off. Thank you for everybody who came and hung out with us on Sunday. That was a lot of fun. Had a good time rehashing some of the old things.
It was fun, wasn't it?
It was. Looking forward to doing some more of that this spring, or something, because I think it'd be fun to kind of take occasional dips back into the old country, as it were. You are 5/8 Aaron tall. Yeah, I believe that because I think you are kind of shorter than I. In any case,
That describes everyone on Earth.
well, maybe just in South Texas.
Still enjoy that plan that National pay everyone that's shorter than you $10 and would bankrupt Aaron forever.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Next week, we'll keep you posted because probably no game Tuesday, but maybe we'll reschedule. I don't know.
I've already co-opted the day, too bad. I've
Well,
already pulled the trigger, too bad.
already. All right. I think as far as announcements goes, I think we don't really have anything else unless you guys have anything. Anything that you want to plug, Mr. Penthos? Not at the moment.
What?
What?
I'm messing with sound because I'm only getting you guys in one ear. What'd you say?
No, I said, do you have any announcements, anything that you are wanting to plug before we get started?
My love for you, I guess. No, Nasi Kwa, you can find us on all the various social medias, and we are trying to premiere our Genasi Radio podcast on February 2nd, Groundhog Day,
Hey, groovy.
which
fair.
is a like kind of sketch comedy a la Robot Chicken, but of D&D nichedom.
Can it
So-
be
Yeah.
the same skit playing on a loop?
I was gonna say, if you like it, you can
Yeah.
go and watch it again or listen to it again,
Yes.
and then listen to it again,
Yeah.
and then listen to it again.
Iskra is my marketing director.
So who is playing Bill Murray getting progressively more contemptuous with every frame?
Funny enough, Bill Murray.
Hey,
Made a call.
that's a great get.
Beautiful.
Thanks.
All right. I think with that, I think we're ready. I always forget that I need to sit closer to the center over here. Alrighty. I think we're ready to go. Let's start tonight's episode of. Oh, God. I almost did it again. Why it only took us one time, and now I'm back to this Game of Santos. No, we are on Age of Myth, and I did it the other way, the last on Sunday. It's fine. We'll get. This is not another episode of Drag Race. Here we go. We're gonna get our cars going or
We're
something.
gonna drag Aaron in a minute. but-
All right, we back. All right. So, to get us started, knock yourself out. Go for it, Cypress.
All right. Water. A message never written. Asterion. A month is an eon. 5 weeks are an eternity. An ocean is an unbreachable gap. Do you feel this vast distance like me? I have found that on occasion I can distract myself from you by focusing on my adventures so far. Though this will never reach you. Pretending it will brings me some semblance of joy. We went over a huge waterfall just over a day ago. It looked like it would be the end as we tumbled to the bottom below, but thanks to Laertes and his math, we landed safely. At the base, we found that an island lie hidden beneath the level of Poseidon's realm. I did not know such places existed, but A lot of what we've come across so far has been new to me. We set out in search of a nameless beast made of eyes and blackness. I've heard many tales of monsters, but nothing that matches that description. Our new ally Penthos's inability to specify its size is very concerning. We found a big obelisk not too far in from the surf with strange writing, and it fascinated everyone in the party, but I felt as I often do around art, foolish. We lost a crew member during a fight with some undead, Helios. I didn't know him. I wonder, did he have someone he was coming home to? I don't know whether to pray that he did, or pray that he didn't. Both sound dreadful. We continued on foot until we reached the ruins of something that may predate even Thebes, though I hope Queen Titania and Queen Aristi never hear me say such a thing. Lastly, we met a strange ghost of a deer centaur, who led us to what we found was her home. It was there that we found out what her fate had been. All elements. She died alone. Please have her tidy. Please don't let me die alone. Fear creeps into my heart once again. Asterion, do you fear death? Do you fear anything? I found out that I do.
Ooh. Ooh. Very nice. That brings me a thought. Is this kind of like, I know you said it was a letter not written, but are these kind of like the thoughts that are going through Cypress's head as he leaves the hut, sphere, dome house of the
We gave her a name.
Saventar.
I don't remember what it was.
I know. Well, it was like I was trying to remember. It wasn't Centaur. It was Saventar or Servitar. That's right.
Aula, I think, was the name we gave her, though that was not based on anything. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, if that's the case, then you leave the entrance of the abode and walk out into the jungle air and the atmosphere around you. Oh wait, no, we had established there was no sounds here. It's just the sound of the breeze. On that wind, there is a smell of flowers and perfume. And briefly in your mind, you feel the warm, comforting presence that you have felt before. And it's something that causes you to kind of look over your shoulder and deeper into the settlement that you have at your back, and up at the canyon, tall canyon walls that kind of eclipse either side of your field of vision. And your eyes kind of just trail outwards to the horizon, and you see now what you thought was a small mountain or hill here at the center of the island. And you realize that its shape is wrong for a mountain. It's like looking at a cube on a corner. It is perfectly, almost pyramid-like in its design. And from the distance, you had thought it was just like grass or forest-covered, a forest-covered mountain. But now you're realizing as you're looking up at it that it is actually just too flat on each side and too perfectly shaped to be of natural origin. And the voice that comes into your mind, you're not alone now, are you?
No.
You have traveled with people, are you not? Others like you? And have I
Yes.
not made a promise that I would stand by your side?
You did.
And did you not feel the gift that I gave you? The comfort of knowing that he still lives and breathes?
I do, yes.
So why do you doubt me now?
Did she have anyone who promised her that? I don't mean to doubt.
You don't hear a response.
Was there no one for her?
I did not know her. So I could not say. Not all of us are all-knowing, you know.
I know that you are here with us, and that I am not alone. I know, and I don't doubt you. I'm just afraid at how quickly that can change.
That can be said for anyone at any time. And from my understanding, fear is the last thing you want right now.
Yes. I need to go back. And I can't do that dead. And I can't do that cowering. Thank you.
There's no response. But you still feel that bit of presence for a moment longer. And you take a breath. And you hear footsteps approaching of one of your companions. But before we get to that, Astrid. You hear those words echoing through your mind. And you lose all sense of vision of the room that you are in. It's like fading to black, like you're falling over and fainting, but you don't feel yourself falling. You just, that blackness that kind of creeps in at the edges of your vision, slowly covers and surrounds you. And then as it opens up again, you see you're standing in the room, but Laertes is not there. You are standing in the room, and it looks brand new. Everything is in its place. The vines that looked long dead before that you had brought back to life are alive, but more grown and vibrant and strong. This wasn't the work that you had done. This is what you imagine they had looked like before. And outside the window that was blocked with debris is clear now, with a couple of pots of like terrace pots that kind of are like elongated rectangles sort of thing. And you can see both inside the window and outside the window. There's a couple of pots that are hanging there. And it almost looks like a little mini herb garden is set up. And you see the creature whom you assume is belonging to Risunrea or Rhea. And she stands over by some of those pots in what appears to be like a small and simple kitchen area. And she has a small globe of crystal-like glass that floats over and around her hand. And from it, it's like it's like when you grab a large sponge that's filled with water and you squeeze it and then the water comes out. Her hand like hovers over the crystal and there's just like water that comes from it. It's as if she's squeezing a sponge, but there is no sponge. It's just the water that falls gently into the little pots. And you hear her speaking and you realize that this is the recording that you had heard, but with visual of the moment that she had recorded it as she was watering her plants in her kitchen. And she turns to you. She doesn't turn to a point in somewhere in the room. She looks at you and looks surprised, as if she had not expected to see you there. She just stares.
You can see me.
Who are you?
You don't know who I am, but I know some of what you are. You do not know what will befall you in this place. Though I'm not sure I can change your fate.
Do you have identification?
Do I have my stuff on me?
You look down at yourself. You look down and you don't see you.
Just my body, no.
You don't see a body. There is a mist of stars. Formless. It's like looking down at a nebula that just kind of like exists.
Never mind that. I found you far, far into your future. You're here. Trying to protect yourself from something closed in from the world. What is happening in this place as you stand now?
I do not understand your question. Please rephrase.
Does she seem robotic, or does she feel
for you
organic?
For you, the player, She doesn't seem to have the range of emotions that a live person would. For you as Astrid, she is acting strange. So do with that as you will. She doesn't seem to be... Her answers are, kind of...
Automated.
Almost. Yeah. Not that we... And that's the weird part is, like, obviously we have... Astrid wouldn't have any, like...
No,
idea, knowledge of what that would be like. But yes, you
like
as a
what that would
player,
be like,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I do not have identification, but I have come to this place, and I suppose I am here to warn you of your future, of your death, and the deaths that may ensue in this place soon.
Do you look around the room and it looks basically the same as you know, just obviously in a different time. She takes a step closer to you.
Reach a hand out.
She doesn't respond. You have placed this device, placed me into a reading device. You are one of the Astro.
Nod.
Is there something I might help you with? Something you wish to see? Something you wish to know? I contain the limited memories of Rhea, but I will help how I can.
Where does Elder Drea reside?
Do you refer to Thalassa or Sarani?
Sorani.
She looks down and then points out in a direction across the room. She lives in the power plant directly across from us in the stream.
What is your purpose here?
I am one of the synergists that works on Atlas.
What does that mean to you?
Rephrase.
What does being a synergist mean to you?
She smiles. It was my dream to help with the founding and the sustaining of the colony. But here is a large magical place, but if it weren't for those of us here working with Atlas, our skies would fall.
Atlas is here. Where does he work?
I do not understand.
It?
Do you refer to Atlas?
Yes.
Atlas is at the end of the canyon.
What does Atlas do to hold up this place?
She smiles. Look outside.
Can I
You
go
shall
outside?
see.
Or can I look from the window outside to where she's pointed?
It's like have you ever used VR headsets before in like exploration games, and you know how you don't really, sometimes in some games you don't walk,
Uh-huh.
you like point and jump and suddenly you're like whoosh there.
Yeah.
You jump to you want to go to the window or to the door?
Let's go to... If I can go to the door, let's go to the door. If I'm allowed to go outside.
You go to the door and it opens with a hiss to the side and disappears into the wall. You see outside, and again, this is for Sonder the player versus like Astrid. You see the world beyond almost like render in a spreading of dust that fits into its place and becomes solid objects. It's like it's almost very akin to the abilities that you guys have shown, like when you start using your powers, that like fine mist or sparkly dust kind of moves. It's like solid pieces of that just spread out from before you and find their place, like trillions of little puzzle pieces that form the rest of the world. It's not quite pixelated, it's just little dots that just go up and beyond. And hold on, the right song here. You see a brilliant small village sitting by a glistening clear blue stream. You see the canyon walls that you had walked in on, but whole and intact. There is no shattered piece that floats menacingly in the sky above. And as your vision continues to trail upwards, you see a blue, blue sky with clouds. And beyond that, a shimmer. As if our blue horizon had fractals of light impossibly high in the sky, beyond the reach of the clouds. Make a wisdom check for me, or nature, one of those two. Whoops.
T3.
23?
Yeah.
You hear the sounds of life around you that you had not heard when you first came here. Even like the sounds of people speaking. And as you look up at the skies above you, you realize that it's like looking at the ocean. That same fractally pattern, but it's mirrored in the skies above. That infinitesimal blue sky that you are used to, that smooth sapphire in the sky, looks shimmery. And your eyes follow across the horizon to the center of the island that you are here at. And you see the mountain that you had been walking towards, a giant structure bigger than anything you have ever seen before, paling in, making the Colossus of Rhodes look minuscule and small. And from its brilliant point, the largest column of water you have ever seen, rushing upwards into the sky. It churns and moves as if it's not with the speed of it being shot from the ground. It's just flowing like a waterfall almost upwards, a slow waterfall. You can hear the barely perceptible, gentle, static sound of like water, of rushing water. And as like your eye travels to it, you start as Rhea's voice comes from beside you. Atlas, the one who holds the sky.
The column is Atlas.
part of it. And you look down at the village, and it is so strange to be staring at the village as it was, with the people moving in and out. It's not crowded village, just a simple village. But if I had to put a descriptor on what you saw, it's like dense jungles with this canyon wall on either side, with somewhere between a settlement in Mass Effect and a maybe Aztec in style, maybe Greek. There's dashes of Egyptian. There's architecture that you've never seen before, but is all present here somehow. A mixture of peoples that have now found their way into the world that you know, but it all exists in one place here.
Astrid's going to tear up just a bit. And turn to Raysun Rhea. Raysun Rhea. What is your name?
Rhea. You may call me Rhea. Raysun was where I was from. I've taken it as a last name.
That's beautiful. I am Astrid Romana. If there were something that could hurt Atlas and this place, something that could destroy it, do you have what you would need to protect yourselves?
She looks at you. I do not understand. Please rephrase the question.
I look for the obelisks.
You can see
Are they
several.
present here?
There's one in its center here in the village. You see some that are on the top of either side of the canyon walls.
Those obelisks, what is their purpose?
Countermeasures
For?
in case Atlas should fall.
And if they should fall?
She doesn't say anything.
Are they a weapon or a shield?
Atlas?
The obelisks
They are a shield.
and Atlas?
Also a shield. A protection from... You see her face darken.
Or what?
The reason why we are here.
Does
You
this thing
But
does this thing live here? Or did it follow you?
your body goes into a static. She kind of quirks her head to the side. And suddenly you feel all of you just kind of as you get... I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
I want to fight against that. Okay.
Laertes, you see Astrid place the gem into his device, and his eyes become...
Her device.
Yes. Sorry. And you see her eyes go Nyx, like that black, starry, far away look. That's like looking into space when you look into her eyes. And they almost seem to radiate like that for a second. This was not something that had happened the last time when she had tried to put your thing in. It's a different reaction.
Last time she had collapsed, right? Did
Correct.
I remember that correctly? Okay, but she is standing still,
Yeah.
or sort of cataplectic, I guess.
Yeah.
Catatonic with extra steps.
Got it.
She rolled an 8.
Okay.
Rolled an 8.
You see her kind of mouth things to herself as if she's speaking to someone, but there's no sound that comes out of her mouth as she speaks.
I'm gonna try to say what I'm saying again and continue to fight to stay in this place.
And for like 2, maybe pushing, it's just for a few seconds. It's probably like 6, maybe 8 seconds that everything seems fine. And then you see her seize up. You see her start to bend backwards. And her eyes return normal. And for Astrid, you see her just kind of tilt her head and furrow her brow, and the whole world around you goes black, and you get that feeling of your body tightening as you are shoved out of the memory core. Laertes,
More to ask.
you have fallen to the ground, Astrid.
I would have, as we started to see the seizure, I would have called over the Penthos. Have we gotten her to the floor? Trying to get her to be on the floor before she falls and hurts
Okay.
herself.
I'm gonna, like, mumble with teeth clenched. I have more to say. I have more to ask.
She's shaking as if she'd fallen into a ice river, but she comes to.
When she opens her eyes, is she still kind of shivering? Is she?
Mhm.
Okay. I'm going to do what I often do for myself and what I've done for the others when we were dealing with some high sea hijinks, and I just try to vibrate the molecules of her clothing to warm her up. It's sort of like this makeshift blanket for someone going through shock.
Okay. Astrid, you retain all of the memories of everything that you just experienced,
Yeah.
but there's like this pain in the back of your head. It's kind of like, it feels like someone is pinching the strands at the back of your eyes. It's just like someone's pinching them. It's this very strange sensation. It's extremely uncomfortable. You're going to take, okay, well, 1 point of psychic damage because I rolled a 1, so it was
But she's no longer seizing.
correct.
Okay.
Brain freeze.
Yeah, brain 1 point damage confirmed. Brain freeze level.
No more Hellenic level ices from now on.
Gotta stop drinking those orange Julius Caesars.
Nice.
Yep. Laertes.
I try and reach for her hand to give her something to clamp onto. What happened?
I met her. The servitor. He spoke. It was beautiful. This place was beautiful.
I put the other hand on after for her, trying to comb the hair out of her eyes, and also trying to get a sense if there's any kind of fever or anything going on. Not a trained medic, but I can at least tell, is this person on fire?
No, there's no like fever or any noticeable
So
signs.
it's calmed down quite a bit. It's okay. Just
Sorry,
catch your breath.
the sky glistened, and the city was not in shambles. There were people and so many different kinds of people. Structures I've never seen before. Atlas. Is Atlas still? She's gonna try to get up and go outside to where she had seen Atlas.
Laertes is way too insubstantial to probably stop her, but he's trying to implore Panthos to just like
Yeah, you're basically
down,
in big Wookiee arms with Panthos.
Penthos is going to pay particular attention to Astrid, not trying to be medicinal at all. Supportive, yes, in a physical manner, but honestly doing exactly what Astrid wants to get Astrid to keep talking.
She's gonna scramble over to the door and look at the same area structure that she had seen Atlas just a couple moments ago.
Okay. As
I
you
scramble after her because
Yeah.
I knew I couldn't do anything to stop her. But
Okay. As you scramble to the door, because this was all happening simultaneously, moments before you scramble to the door, I believe. Hold on. I believe Phoebe, you had left, or you were by the door or something.
If you were done with what you had in that building, I was going to do something and leave, but we scratched that at the end of last session because you said there was more in there for us.
Okay. Well, because I didn't want to like cut that scene short. So, okay. So in that case, if you're gonna stay there for the time being, we'll say Cypress because you had exited the building, and we had said earlier that after your little brief conversation, you heard the footsteps of someone out, behind you. You're gonna see Astrid, Laertes, and Penthos coming out of the building.
He at this point he will have more steadied himself and come to, and he gets to his feet. Is everything all right?
Astrid scrambles and like trips over a rock.
I'll try and catch her.
It is weird because in your mind you had just seen this place. You had just witnessed what it had looked like in its origin. And now your heart breaks because you see what 1,000 years of no one did to this place. You see trees that have grown taller where there had been none. You see growth growing over buildings that had looked new and pristine, had people walking in and out of them. Where awnings had been, there was nothing. Where the stream flows still, its route has changed. And beyond it, the giant structure that you had seen so clear now looks like a mountain, completely overgrown with green, no longer shooting forth this column of water into the sky, and your eye traces upwards, and you see the most beautiful blue sky above you, but it lacks the luster that you had seen before.
What's wrong, Astrid?
The ancients were incredible, and something destroyed this place, and they weren't prepared for it. Rhea wasn't prepared for that.
Rhea?
He, the servitor we saw.
Oh. You learned her name?
Spoke to her.
You spoke to her. Did her image finally talk?
Yes. I don't know how I knew how to talk to her, but she answered my questions. Most of them, I was pushed away. She is like she's not like a person. But she is in some ways. Something is off about her. She loved what she did here. It's all gone.
Well, not everything, right? I mean, there's still the base structure of the buildings. There's still all the floating canyon in the air. You said the mountain is still within view?
Mm-hmm.
Aaron?
Yeah.
And Cypress
and it's not like, oh, Mount Everest big. It's just it's not like a simple little hill, but it looks like a mountain.
The mountain is not the mountain.
The mountain's what?
The mountain is not the mountain. It's a structure built by them. This sky, Cypress, glistened with their magic. There was a gargantuan pillar of water that's went up to the heavens. It is God now. The thing that they were scared of, it got to them.
Maybe we can bring it back. I mean, maybe they didn't have Laertes.
Which, to that effect, Laertes, what are you wanting to say?
Did Astrid scramble out without her device?
Yeah.
Okay. Seeing that she's talking with Cypress, he's not going to go over and manipulate it directly as much as it just seems to lift up into the air, float more towards him, but he doesn't interact with it as much as he kind of just lets it slowly rotate in the air as he walks outside to this display. Clearly this was an experience that is affecting her, and he doesn't want to take it away from her by engaging with it himself, but also he's slightly wary of it as he's thinking through some of his own ideas about how his own construction even works, based on some of the things he's been hearing. But he doesn't interrupt, he just lets her go.
You know, I spoke to Aphrodite just now. She said that she and at least most of the other gods did not actually know this civilization. Maybe the fact that they are, at least she is with us now, maybe we can do something about it.
Leia did not come from this place. She's from a place called Risum. And maybe the others did not come from this place as well. Other realms we have not yet discovered.
Like an afterlife?
Like a place we cannot fathom but exists in the shadows. A home to people like Rhea that we could not comprehend.
That's not hard.
Sorry, go ahead.
No. He was. Cyrus would have been rambling, trying to think of something to say. So now's a good time to interrupt.
As Astrid mentions, places far away, not from here. He thinks back to one of their earliest interactions, actually using that same device. And he's been hesitant to bring it back up because of what happened that first time, and he didn't want to cause harm to his new friend that was so kind enough to let him investigate an ancient device. Astrid, I'm going to do something with the device, and I don't want it to do any harm to you, but I think it's relevant to what we're discussing. Is that okay?
It's fine.
Would you like to sit down in case it causes anything for you?
Oh. Already myself. If she sit against the structure that she just came out of, just lay against it. So,
And since there are multiple slots on the device, from what I understand, he produces the crystal of his own construction. He knows that it interfaced with it before and caused that cosmological map is the only way I could really describe it. And as he gravitationally sort of inserts it into one of the slots, and he just lets the device hang in the air, he tries to reinitialize that same map and see if connecting to Rhea's will kind of give an insight of maybe where she's from, where any of this is from. You can say no, it's okay. Or you can say nothing at all.
You
that
might be
also
muted.
works.
I was just going, So I didn't really say anything. I was like, no, I know. I'm trying to figure out what the effect of that would be. So as you would do that, I'm going to think about it for a second. And for the moment, I'm going to go back over to Phoebe and Themisto.
Vamp.
You can't give away your secrets. You go, and we'll come back to that.
That is what
No,
you
no,
do.
distract you
I
with some-
appreciate the honesty rather than someone that's trying to bullshit me.
Yeah. No, I was like, because I feel like it would do something, but what it is, I just need a second to think about it, because these are the kind of like, I don't have the man. If I
There's
did
not a table in the
there's
DM
like
side for that?
there's a good diagram the size of my wall that's like, if this goes to this, if this goes to this, if not this, it goes over here.
If it helps, My intent is to somewhat bridge the gap of Ares has said that they've come from another place, that Astrid's kind helped them travel the stars and brought them here. And there's been discussions of other worlds and places and far away, and treating the sky as an ocean to sail through. We have this existence of multiple versions of a constellations and star maps, and now the holographic universe map that we were presented with in like the first episode, and trying to help them
Combine
bridge
those.
a visual gap.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Let me work that out. Themisto and Phoebe. You currently Corinthianly are. That's a good one. I'll play that Corinth song. You are in that building that's on the opposite side of the stream. You have found a small, about 2 foot long lizard snake, and fed it a little bit of mango. It is now curled up with around it like a snake, kind of, and holding it with its 2 small front legs as it just like takes bites of it and eats it, and just like watches you curiously. Its coloration kind of yeah, it's conversation. It's
Graham, I think you broke Aaron.
you did. It's expression. That's the word that I was looking for. It's expression, kind of just curiously looking at both of you. Its complexion was the other word that I was going to go for. Its scales, kind of shifting and changing a little bit with the different greens that's around it. Not quite camouflaging it, but kind of happily shifting, I guess you could say. Kind of has very like little squid changing color energy to it. You know what I mean? Like, you ever seen the little tiny cephalopods that just change color vibrantly? Almost like whatever their mood is. Yeah, kind of like whatever their mood. It kind of is doing that with its scales.
He's angry.
Angry cowfish.
What a wonderful creature this is.
I think you've made it happy.
It does seem to like the fruit here. So, little friend, what can you tell us about this place?
It stops and looks at you. Just continues to eat. Then finally finishes the last little bit. And it's just
Well,
got
it can tell us
like,
it's hungry.
it has like hamster cheeks, and so it like chews. It's getting
I'm
very.
sure we could find you another if you want some more.
It shakes its head.
Oh, you do understand this.
It shakes its head. Just kind of like it uncoils itself, gets to the edge of the table that it's at, and just like sits and just kind of looks you up and down, the both of you, but doesn't do much, as it just seems to be curiously regarding you.
Do you think this is its home?
If not before, then certainly now.
Kind of just looks
Little-
back.
I'd feel silly for introducing myself, but the little one, I am Phoebe.
Looks over. It looks at you as you speak. It's like it's understanding that you guys are communicating to each other, and seems to know when you are directing things at it. But there's not really an expression that says, "I understand." It's just like looking you just finished saying something, and now it just like looks over at Themisto.
I am going to try to speak Sylvan to it, just in case. It's probably just an animal, but just in case it's a spirit. Do you speak the language of the spirits and the fawns?
Its head kind of dips down and cocks its head to the side as if it's like notice the change in the words that you spoke, but still doesn't
I
relate.
imagine that this version of Sylvan feels very like sing-songy, since it's like nymphs and fawns that are supposed to be speaking it most of the time.
Yeah. Just kind of.
I wish I understood what you said. It sounded nice.
It is a pretty language, isn't it? It does seem to have some manner of intelligence, whatever it is. I like it.
It stands up and leans forward and kind of stretches in your direction, and its little nostrils move like it's trying to sniff and smell at you before it leaps into the air and floats like a snake upwards to your arm. It kind of just like latches on like a squirrel, and it's just like
Whose arm?
Themisto's, as it goes up her arm, and just kind of, it's now no longer looking at your face as much as it is looking at the snakes that are coming off of your head, and
They're
they probably are also
looking down,
looking down. There's just kind of like
Tongues
they're
going, checking it out, getting different angles, each of them. Just
Yeah.
like- My head is pretty crowded already, but
just kind of looks back and forth, then finally looks over at your face, and then looks around your body as if like looking for more probable fruit, like goes avoiding anywhere high. It goes down your midsection, like around your back, trying to see, and you see its little hands start to like move through
I do have
pouches.
a couple more pieces,
Yeah,
actually.
it's like
so-
looking around. It's not necessarily like what's it called? Sleight of handing, trying to like grab anything. It's just kind of like moving it around to see if anything is visible.
Above
the
the
top.
table was dragon fruit, one of the fruits we had.
Yeah.
But we wouldn't have known
Well,
its name.
yeah, but that was one of the fruits that was there. Yeah. I don't remember if I think we wound up grabbing some of that too.
Yes,
Yeah.
I've got one or two pieces left, so I'm sure it can easily find them. The Mister wasn't hiding them.
No.
So, if it does take more, she won't stop it.
It will it won't take it unless you offer it. It will find it and it will look at it and it'll chirp excitedly, but it's not going to reach and try and grab it. But if it finds it, it just kind of like very its movements kind of emulate that of like a meerkat, where it's just like bobbing its head back and forth in excitement.
I'm going to ask Phoebe. I'm going to involve Phoebe in the process of giving it the fruit, so it knows that we're both being very friendly to it. And say, what do you think, Phoebe? Should I give it another piece?
But it's got very nice manners. You should definitely reward it for being polite.
Okay, you can have another. And she'll tap the fruit and then kind of motion towards it real quickly.
Make a persuasion check.
This is Poseidon, so I can't really offer it, but I have a feeling you've been eating it anyway, so.
I'm feeling you're doing whatever the heck you want.
This is.
Can it be with advantage since we're both talking to it?
Sure.
That's a 22.
Okay. Well, it seems to understand and like reaches it grabs on with its back legs, and you can feel it kind of like the little bitty claws kind of dig into your
just a little
shirt
bit
a
of,
little
like,
bit as it
Like
reaches
when,
forward.
when a cat is climbing you.
Yeah, basically, and you get it reaches in, grabs the other piece, clutches it to its chest, and kind of like rolls onto its back and does like a little backstroke, fly back down to the table, rolls back up in its little coil, and starts eating it again.
It really
Should-
does love these fruits.
Should we give it a name?
Yes, I think we should.
Well, it's missing wings, but it does remind me kind of a dragon.
It does, doesn't it? There are many good dragons in the stories.
Yes, though sadly most of them are monsters. But again, we know what we think about monsters. The real ones and those that are given names.
Well,
And spite.
though it does seem to like the fruit, how about Ladon? It is the name of the serpent who guarded the golden apples.
What do you think, little one? Would you like to be called Edon?
It stops eating and looks over at you and just kind of blinks its reptilian eyes and little tongue that kind of comes out and like tests the air. And it just keeps going.
No. The question is, are you Ladonos or Ladoni? Or neither?
It finishes the piece and now looks like it's gotten slightly pudgier in the middle. You even see it kind of like put a hand on its belly and kind of rub it.
Ledon, are you content staying here or would you like to come explore with us? And I'll kind of stretch my arm out towards it.
It leans forward again, like sniffing in your general direction before it reaches out two front claws
Oh,
towards
is it
you.
doing uppies?
It does like this. It might have overburdened its flight to weight
No
ratio.
wonder why. We made it encumbered.
I will slowly approach it, if you don't mind. And I'll hold my arms out so it can like curl up if it wants to.
You hold your arm out, and as soon as it gets your fingers within reach, it like on either side wraps its hands around and then like pulls, lifts, and there's a little bit of like lightness as it kind of flies up and uses like a mixture of all three things to kind of get itself up onto your arm before it clambers up the up your arms and your sleeve, and then kind of like curls around your neck, almost like a small like scarf kind of thing. It just kind of brings its tail and like wraps it around, and it even starts to like playfully move around your ear before it just kind of like sniffs at you, giving you the like little chills.
The Mister is gonna smize, the eye smile over at Phoebe, and we match now.
I guess we do.
Now you both have reptiles around your face. You hear conversation coming from outside.
I guess we have been away for a bit.
We should get back to the group, see what they found.
Ledon, wait till you meet the others.
Mister's gonna take one final look around the building before we go to see if anything stands out to her.
Sure. Make a investigation or perception check.
I certainly shall. Gonna use my dedicated investigation / perception dice. Thank you, Dreamy, for that. Originally for Iskra because of Iskra's terrible perception checks. That is a 14 perception.
Okay.
I rolled pretty low, but she's got pretty good perception because she's got a lot of extra eyes.
You do one class is you both start to walk out. You look one last time over your shoulder at this strange room. It doesn't, since you've been in here, it doesn't give you really the sensation of this was someone's house. This seemed more utilitarian or something. A storage, a room with a purpose, a post maybe. You do see that there are inset sections to the walls, like there would be for windows, but they are covered in what looks like mud or dirt, making them almost look like stone like the rest of this place. I will say, make a nature check for me.
I could do that. Ooh, good. I rolled high. And nature is one of her skills. 24.
24. You've seen the effects of floods before. And it's probably now that you kind of remembering when you guys were in the priory and it had been oh my gosh, what is the name of that spell? Prestidigitation had been used to clear away the edges to make it smooth. When muddy water fills a place and leaves that muddy residue on walls, it kind of hardens and becomes dusty looking, almost like stone, lichen kind of texture to it. And you're realizing that this inside of this building, while broken and overgrown now, the walls of it look like they have something similar happen, where it's that same kind of like remnants of a flood that long past, and the dirt has now hardened and dried into a very, like, you would imagine if you'd like try to bash it a little, it would flake and crumble and break off like shell or some really flaky stone.
What was this place once, I wonder? It looks like the waters were high here. We can't see what it was like before. But maybe, being as Themisto's mom is a craftswoman, she's gonna go for like the threshold of the door, and try to scrape away at it and see if she can find like a builder's name or something.
Would this be inside or outside of the building?
Would probably be on the interior.
Okay. Doing that a little bit around the edges, I'm going to say that you probably don't find anything. At least
she
not
can only
here.
use the instincts of her time that are appropriate to her.
Yeah.
Me, the player, would maybe go for something else, but
Themisto, one last thing before we go. We said no fear, right?
that's right.
Before I lose all my courage. And she's going to very quickly peck Themisto on the cheek and then like dart out of the building.
Themisto, well, since you've darted out of the building, you don't know how Themisto reacts.
What does the audience see?
I want to know.
Quit
I'm
fleeing
not
the
telling.
scene, Phoebe.
She molts.
Oh no.
And
You gotta
then come
petrify her
out
so she can't
to all
run
the
off.
rest of this.
So you come out as the experiment is is about to go on. I know that earlier. Oh, what? Go ahead, Laertes.
Oh, I had a follow up or
Sure.
sorry, not a follow up, but more an alternative path that would help you.
Mhm.
But we'll just see what you do first, and I'll change course if it's not.
Well,
working
no.
right.
Tell me.
The other idea is, if that's just not going to do anything helpful or interesting, the other idea is, based on how he built this thing, and it's this dense packing of information, the idea of hologram storage, light and information is sort of folded in on itself. Effectively, that's how he made the crystal.
Mhm.
And if he can't get it to show the map, or it's not a useful idea, the other idea is simply to project, or try to get this thing to project the imagery that Astrid experienced. If you can find that command line and try and project it in some way.
So I'm going to leave this more up to Astrid, only because if you're placing your device, it's basically you're placing your USB drive into her computer kind of thing, right? So it's more of what Astrid can get it to do, because it's kind of out of your direct manipulation so much, if that makes sense.
I just know that it did the projection thing before. That's what I'm just trying to
make it happen again, right? I will say that Astrid, I'm gonna need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh.
As now you have two different.
Placed into mine.
I tried to put it in the best terms possible.
I did ask if she was okay with this and to sit down first. So
I got a 5.
Okay. I'm gonna say it. There is probably a bit of pain as you have both of these things in this thing, and you're in your mind. There is a clashing of information, sort of thing. There's a lot of sudden rush of similar but not the same.
Can I do something?
Compatibility here? Yeah, go for it.
One of her abilities is to channel like strength within herself. And I want to see if I can use that to try to push this ability, to try to get that information. It is part of her star map, starry form thing for dragon, and it allows a wisdom or intelligence saving throw or constitution saving throw to maintain concentration on a spell. I can roll anything that's a 9 or lower as a 10.
Okay.
If you don't consider this a spell, then that's fine. But
thematically, yeah, I like where you are using this or how you are trying to make it work.
So then she's going to, as you activate that, she's going to fight really hard to numb the pain within her mind. And from her forehead, and outward, you'll see the constellation begin to form, like her skin is just blotting outward into that starry void with her eyes closed as she activates that starry form.
Thirdly, Penthos had earlier given you the king card. Do you still have it?
I think, Laertes, would you have picked it up when you picked up the star chart?
sorry, you're going to have to refresh my memory. Was that used?
I used that with the star chart when we tried it first, yeah.
I wouldn't have left it on the floor. I guess it would have just been coalesced as the pattern. And I guess if I would have been walking out, it would have been a case of this is yours and it's floating there. If you want it back, take it, kind of thing.
That makes sense. Yeah, if you'd used it before, then it makes sense
because Pentos had placed it on the device. It wasn't like floating separately or anything. It was just placed.
I didn't know
on
if it kind of just slipped off or if it was.
Or no, it was just
inserted.
it wasn't. I don't think we tried to insert it. I think he just placed it on top of the device to kind of, you know,
I placed it on Astrid's hand
In hand
to
choose.
use
that's right.
She concentrated as she.
as like it's
Oh,
your
that's
choice.
right. Got it. So then Astrid's thing, then did you try to put it on your device, or did you leave it off to the side, or were you just holding on to it using it as like a focus?
Let's have her hold it as a focus, and then with the star chart in her other hand, as she like sits crossed on the floor against the wall of the outside.
Okay. So you have it now, you have it in your hand, using it as a focus. I'm going to say that as you're kind of holding it in your hand and you're kind of moving it around, there is a stronger resonance the closer it gets to your device. And I'll say that it's almost imperceptible, but just enough to where you notice it, like it tremors a little in your hand when you bring it the closer to your device it gets. And it's kind of like as you're talking or gesturing, you kind of feel it just shake a little bit.
I'll let the hands like then come together with the two devices.
There is going to be a okay. There is going to be a beam of light that comes from your device and tractors it into place. And like holds it above your star chart. And in your mind, what is a language that is very, I wouldn't say common. What is one of the languages that you know?
Celestial and Druidic.
So I'm going to say that, I'm going to hazard a guess that Celestial is a language that kind of, for whatever reason, tends to relate a lot to your device. And though you may not, it's kind of like first language kind of situation where you don't really think about it. It just kind of like, your brain automatically translates what it is that you're hearing or what it is that you're reading. But a lot of what you see and hear and read when it comes to using your device I would consider Celestial. More so than Old Kingdom. Even though it is an Old Kingdom device, it is very specific to you for whatever reason. And in your mind, you hear a term of something akin to like security accepted or security
Granted.
acknowledged.
Yeah.
Like it's that kind of, we'll just say that it's a combination of words in Celestial that kind of completes that thought. And then we'll say that as you are doing this is when Themisto and Phoebe come out of the room or the building from across the stream, and you guys, as you exit, can see Astrid and the boys standing over by the dome structure, seeming to be like crouched over Astrid, who's on the ground and messing with something in her arms.
Should be
I know.
Christmas.
Phoebe's gonna come out blushing and just see said you laying on the ground.
Yeah,
Or
she's
sitting on the ground,
sitting there.
just
And her face is just gonna. What happened?
Do the rest of us experience anything?
No.
Could it be something? Okay.
Because I'll say that as that's like that voice happens in Astrid's mind, I will say that with that 10, you can get the star chart to appear again. And it's kind of harder to see because you're like outside in the sunlight or whatever, but it is visible. It's small. I wouldn't say it's not as intense as whenever you did it the first time, because there's a little bit of a shimmer or a shake to it. But that star chart, a star chart of the night sky appears there and in your midst and kind of floats around all of you.
I
The
think
one-
Laertes and Astrid are trying to talk to the past.
I try to concentrate on projecting what I may see in front of me in this vision out onto the structure. Or into.
Okay. Themista and Phoebe, are you guys coming up then?
Yeah, Themisto's gonna splash through the water over to the crew and probably kneel down near Astrid.
And as we get closer, you'll notice this reptilian creature around Phoebe's neck. It'll probably take you a second because Phoebe's got a lot of hair. But you'll see like the tail and probably the head kind of
Little
like.
Chinese dragon hanging out.
Yeah.
It looks like it has a mop on its head because it like pops up with the hair around its face.
Laertes sees it and he goes, putting a pin in that. He never says it, but he just like itemized list of things he's got to deal with later.
I feel like we're gonna start picking up on the expression you make that means that and go,
Got to
Bring that internal list of priorities, like just slotting that into one, just like that's a next 5-minute problem. I'll come back to it.
Astrid, and what you use wisdom as druid for this? Because I was like trying to figure out how to like do like an arcana check or something like that would allow you to kind of navigate. How do you normally, what would you say you would normally use to navigate your device? Insight
Yeah.
into the stars and stuff. You would use that. Okay.
This is also like a metaphysical capability with the Circle of Stars druid.
Okay. So yeah, we'll use insight then.
Special dice.
Would she have advantage due to collective help at this point, or
She's gonna have advantage. Yes. Yeah, you're allowed to do it with advantage because you do have a key card that is currently helping you unlock some things.
15.
15? Okay. Beautiful. So, dope. I will say, as you guys are approaching, you see the star chart that kind of floats around the space of Laertes, Cyprus, Penthos, and Astrid. The constellations that you are familiar with, kind of highlighted, as it were. They're like bolder stars than the rest of the night sky. And then you see it kind of fade and shift. And suddenly you see basically like a minor image play out of Risun Rhea as she's watering her plants. You see the servitor, the little deer centaur that you had seen ghostly in the forest earlier. You see her now with what looks like an orb or a crystal of water as she waters plants. And she recites the recording that was heard before. That Astrid heard before. I don't even remember. Oh, I think I used this one.
Personal log of Risun Rhea. It's been a few rotations now since we have settled here, and we're still adjusting. The great Atlas engine of Crete Aan is truly a work of marvels, and we are doing our part to protect us from what lies outside this world. Though I had the option of staying in Bahiri with the others, this was a chance to really help with the colonies and its growth. We've started to build homes and means of growing our own food. We're still a long way from being self-sufficient, but it's progress in the right direction. I've made a few new friends here since I've arrived. There's Sarani, who's an engineer on the Atlas engine. Or I guess I should say, on Atlas. She's one of the Elder Drea, an inhabitant of EU. She's proven to be invaluable to learning the intricacies of channeling the natural resources of this world. Salurhan recently moved here from one of the northern colonies and is working as our lead agriculturalist. He's taught me a lot about growing food in this climate, something that was closer to his home world than where my people hail from. And then there's our resident healer, Tuatret, visiting from the Kameshian Aan, working with some of the specialists who've recently fallen ill under mysterious circumstances. Though it has proven to be a challenging place to live, Ter Un also is a beautiful and rewarding place. I'm proud to be a part of this colony, and I'm excited to see what the future holds for us. End of recording.
She turns from where she was watering the plants as she spoke aloud, puts the crystal down on the counter, and with a gesture of her hand waves, and the mirror image, or the minor image, just kind of shifts and ends.
And we all saw and heard that?
Mm-hmm.
After,
Penthos?
before I see.
Does anything specific in that message affect Penthos?
A little bit. You have spent most of your time moving through the realms of the mortals and forgetting the past for a very, very long time. A very, very long time. And there are certain words within the recording that are like a light, a lantern, a torch being lit in a dark cave in the back recesses of your mind. Completely dark before, now parts of a tapestry reveal themselves as memory begins to unfold, things that you had forgotten in the past. The terms Ter-Um, the word Krit An. An is the Bahirian word for colony. Bahiri, the eternal city, the center of the old kingdom. The hope of the Drea. You remember them not because you were so much there, but because they were still vividly fresh and in use in your earliest memories. And you had forgotten them. Or they had been hidden from you. And it is there that we were going to go on break. Yeah.
Oh.
No. Alrighty, guys. Give us a moment as we go and refresh our mugs and take a stretch, and we will be right back. You don't want to miss what's coming up around the corner. Before it's too late.
This
Before it's
blushing,
too-
this is what Phoebe and Themyscira are doing right now.
They're doing. Audience, I just want you to know that I have to endure terrible hardships.
Yeah, name one thing.
The cast.
That's what I thought. Nothing.
Nobody blinded me.
Oh
Good
my.
one, Trevor.
Hilarious.
We're so funny. That's why you picked us.
Okay. There is a. I love that they use this in books. There is a pregnant moment of silence.
Okay.
Yeah, put it on. No. Of just.
That was moment formed.
Well, what a mommy moment and a daddy moment. Love each other very much.
We
Oh, no.
conceived this silence together.
Inconceivable.
There's this moment where you guys are just like staring, and now it is reverted back to the constellation. Well, because we kind of base the fact that Astrid's device, that's like the home screen, is like the constellation chart, because that's what Astrid uses to navigate for most
Most used app.
Yeah, it's the most used app, right? So it's kind of just automatically always that reverts to the constellation. But you guys just heard the voice. Penthos.
Install DLC on it.
Yeah. Penthos, you have those memories that just kind of like you get the flashbacks of, or at least the terms. Those terms now mean something to you that probably, or that you hadn't even thought about before. Themisto and Phoebe, the elation that you had been feeling moments ago, kind of just like, you've seen Astrid use this device before.
Were we there?
Yeah.
Mm.
All the time.
Oh no,
Oh,
not
she-
not
she
not that
uses it,
one.
like, in
You
combat.
but use it. She uses Astrid uses it to navigate the ship. So
Oh yeah.
like you've seen the usage of this device before, but not like this. Not to show like a minor image. What do you guys do?
Astrid, is this what you all discovered?
There is a this and more. I talked to the servitor like she was in front of me. I could understand her and she me. What is it?
Such a jealous pup.
It's
Yeah.
like I can hear the servitor now.
And
Bahiri, such a majestic language.
Is that the sound that Penthos has been making?
and this is why all of this is here, a colony.
This place, this island was a colony for them.
Where did
for
they come
everybody
from?
here. She said that there was they came to this world like they were from another realm. She is from Risu. I'm not familiar with this place.
Guided by people of the stars. Like you.
She called me an Astra.
Can you say that without the accent so I can write it down?
She
Astral.
Called me
Astral.
Mm-hmm.
He's all gone. The food all gone.
I think they need to be
Exceptionally cute.
renamed from beagles to bugles.
Only done. No food. All the
And-
meals for today.
An astral. Is that the name for you, daughter of the stars?
I don't know. This is what she called me. My body was as if it was made of the sky at night.
Like that
sea
night? Can we say to help with these interactions at this moment, you see this little head pop up?
Yeah.
Wait, say again?
That
So
as
to
you
help
guys
you
are
with these breaks in this conversation, you see this little serpentine head pop out of Phoebe's hair.
You've got a little.
you've got a something you got a thing right there. Or a little something.
Do did you make a friend?
Oh yes, this is Ledon.
Ah.
Ledon, this is Astrid and Cypress, Laertes and Penthos.
It sounds like a dog. That was,
He's
a trumpet. Wow. That was good.
he's cute. Something occurs to Cypress, and he listens for other sounds of nature. Are there any sounds going on?
Mm-mm.
That's
It's just the breeze.
that little fellow is the only alive thing that we've come across so far.
But it likes fruit. South and Mr. won it over. Though I think it is too full to fly now. Isn't
Just
that
needs
right?
a
You got a
bit of
little.
hand.
I'm gonna give it little chin scratches.
The little lizard snake thing looks from each as each person talks, it like looks at each one, its head kind of going back and forth and back and forth. It doesn't seem to understand anything that's going on. It's just hearing the noises that are coming from each person as it kind of like its head watches.
You know what?
Hold on. Penthos, you had your fingers up for a second. What's up? What are you gonna say?
Penthos is going to feel. It's not specifically loss. It's that feeling of suddenly aware that you are missing something important. Like your phone or your keys, but times 1,000. And is, I think, going to probably walk away from the group a little bit. Almost in that kind of like jogging a little bit forward and then stopping, but just trying, like, actively searching. But that feeling is shared among the group of you are suddenly so aware of losing something, but you can't place what you lost, but something's gone.
As that feeling spreads to Phoebe, I'll just say really quickly, she's immediately going to turn to Themisto. Because even as that feeling washes over, she remembers what she found.
That's all I was gonna say. Themisto immediately grabs Phoebe.
Cypress notes that.
And the blush starts to creep back up a little bit.
Laertes.
I guess to use a little bit what was put down, Laertes is constantly aware that the crystal is in that device. It's almost like this floating ping constantly going off in his mind that he's not able to ignore. And while he's constantly aware of it, he's able to kind of just, I'm going to put that over here. I'll have my little object fixation problem with it later, but it's over there. I know where it is. It's fine.
It's like when you put your phone in someone else's backpack, you're just like.
You ever try to show your parent your phone and they just sort of take it from you? That.
Yeah.
But I still have comprehend languages up, I assume. Because I cast it basically as soon as we walked into this place. And as I look at this creature, I test the boundaries of that. And I go, as I speak to it, them, they, if they have a concept of language that isn't just beast, goes, oh, hello, nice to meet you. Do you have a name? but hopefully said in a way that it primarily understands. Mephistopheles, destroyer of worlds. Arr.
I love that this scholar like crouches and looks at them.
Um,
What
This
if instead
little
of doing a
dragon,
different
like, it
language,
goes,
it's like baby talk?
Because I was
No.
following through on my own thought from chat of it's fucking quiet. How I've seen Alien Covenant. I know how this goes.
How would you, when you speak another language, and this is just like a general D&D thing, when especially with the spell comprehend language, would you be aware that the other person is speaking another language, or that another language is being spoken and you're magically understanding the new one? Or is it kind of like you're just, the words are coming out English and they are
The way I
hearing what
understand
they...
it is kind of like the universal translator from Star Trek. You might see the lips move out of sync, but you are understanding the literal meaning of what's being said. So you probably get a little bit of that, like the dubbing error, where you hear or interpret what is being said, even if the lips aren't really matching. So, and from what I understand, it is both directions.
Okay.
Person who has used the spell and the intended
Target.
But only if it's a creature that has actually a concept of language, like outside of animals when you use speak with animals. So I'm basically it's testing: is this an animal, or
Does anybody speak Draconic?
No.
Not anymore.
for the next little while I do.
Negative.
Okay.
Who speaks with dragons?
Yeah,
There
exactly.
are dragons in this game.
The mistress
Yeah.
speaks Egyptian.
That's
I
right.
picked Minotaur for some
I
reason.
mean, Egyptians built kind of dungeons,
Yeah.
tombs and tongues. No, it's worse now.
Tombs and tongues.
How,
Why tongues?
how strange that you speak my language.
There was a little bet in chat about how this would go. I went for received pronunciation English, so I'm happy this is closer. Just an innate gift, I suppose. Do you have a name you'd like to go by?
Not really. It has been a long time since I've spoken to anybody. I don't remember having a name before.
And
Your lips are not moving. You're not speak. What manner of what are you doing? How are you speaking to me now?
do you know how you can scratch behind your head, but other creatures can't? It's a trick you learn.
Curious.
Do you mind that you seemingly have been adopted by these two nice ladies? Or
They think they have adopted me? I've adopted them. They look weak, frail, and helpless. Poor things. They
I can't
probably
help
wouldn't.
but think of Tolly, maybe one of like the first conversations they ever had. Oh, he's so weak and helpless. I shall adopt him.
Yes.
Oh, do you
They need my
Me-
protection.
mean to protect them, or
Oh, make sure that they get off the island safely before they lose their eyes to the creatures that are within the center.
did you say creatures or creature?
Creatures.
Creatures. There are many.
A few.
But And you're not one of these creatures.
I would hope not.
How have you evaded them?
I've stayed away from the center.
They don't go further than that.
Not since they battled with the big flying individuals that came a few days ago.
Big flying individuals. Could you describe them further than that?
There was a blue one, two blue ones, and a white pale creature that looks kind of similar to you.
In the fact that they were pale, or
Two arms, legs, walking about, no scales, fins, or other discerning features. Plain, boring, like the rest of, well, except for the furry one. The furry one looks different than the rest of you. Oh, well, and he, like,
I was gonna
Just
say, does he
look-
gesture to Themisto, or is he grouping her with the normies? Other than that, you guys are, of course, just seeing her have this full-on back and forth.
For reference for everybody else, you remember earlier whenever I was eating the fruit and making the noises, it was talking out loud
the roar.
and doing yeah, it's like
I imagine for them though, because he's speaking normally and just being understood, that they're witnessing half of a conversation.
Squeak, squeakers.
Except he's not the one that's squeaking though, but it's just,
yes.
but
You
he'll like
owe
have like
me
a full
a new
earnest
eight.
conversation, and then squeak, squeak, squeak is all he gets back and goes, really interesting. Tell me more about your day.
It's just like you hear the creature. It's just kind of, it's strange that it's speaking. Like I said, it's very guttural but low, but kind of high pitched. It's and just kind of like it sits back on its
Giving like
hunches.
full directions, but
Kind
it's in
of-
that
it
weird
kind of-
garbled nibbler sound.
Yeah, it just kind of whenever it talks like about Penthos and Themisto, it just kind of goes.
Welcome to the not quite Dragon Ted talk. So, how many of these creatures are there?
I do not know. I saw a few fighting the big powerful creatures, the powerful people, whatever they are, that came here. And then after they battled, there was kind of no true winner, so they both left. Dragging the wounded away off the island, going back to the center of the island.
Sorry, just so I understand, the creatures went to the center of the island, and then
Yes.
the giant people battled. They went where? I missed that part.
Left the island.
Left the island.
Took their wounded and left.
So there were more than two. There were many.
Oh yes, it was quite a fire show, as you can see over there.
And he points to the where there some of the destruction of the ruins that look kind of fresh, not too far off.
And he'll point up to that giant boulder, and is that also their handiwork?
No, that was there already.
And how long have you been here?
I stumbled on this place quite some time before the waters went away.
Would it be rude to ask what you are exactly, just so we know how to refer to you correctly?
I am. You can call me a divine being.
Divine being.
Sure, why not?
As I'm saying that out loud, I'm always expecting Cypress to be just.
Which, out of curiosity, what is Cypress doing? What is everybody else doing right now with this?
We'll say that literally this whole time, since it's such a perfect moment, he's not done it until now. Cypress has just been kind of that confused look during this conversation, but as you get to that subject and you're like, a divine being. He absolutely he's like his eyes will flash gold and he will divine sense.
Divine sense. What all do you sense with divine sense? Divine.
Well, let me tell you.
While he's looking it up, I like to
Anything
imagine. Oh, sorry. You did it faster.
Anything affected by the Hallow spell, location of any celestial fiend or undead.
Okay. Celestial fiend or dead. It is none of those things.
It's just a little malicious liar, is what it is.
It's a cat.
Yeah. I've seen it's a Sphinx cat, so it's basically just delusions of grandeur.
There are
I
many
imagine
types
that
of
Phoebe's
cat.
kind of stretched out
types
her
of
arms
doll.
and it's kind of wound its way around to like sit there rather than staying up here to have this conversation.
Also, just because it's still on, I don't think Cypress ever checked Penthos. He's not glowing.
No.
Okay.
There was hesitation. Sorry. What name did you offer him? Him? He? Sure. As I'm like looking to the creature for confirmation of.
You certainly seem to be very hung up on this name business. I believe my two new pets have given me a name from what I have parceled from their strange chirping noises that they make.
And does this please you, or?
It's adorable.
I see.
I'll let them
But you-
keep calling me whatever they wish.
But
They
you
give
mean
me
to-
fruit. I'm happy.
You mean to see that they get off the island safely?
I would hope so. It would be a shame if they had to die like the rest of them.
Indeed. Well, I won't take up any more of your time. Thank you for speaking to me.
Oh, it was definitely a pleasure. It's hard to find anybody that speaks the tongue of the divine.
If we get more time later, I would like to discuss further.
Yeah, you should probably still be around before you die.
And there's a moment where Laertes is going, "Oh, prophecy," and like it's almost like he wants to check a medical brace. It's like, yeah, that's about right. Your new friend is at least amused by you.
It
Well,
looks
that's
it
something.
looks back at Phoebe and just goes. It just nods.
That was quite the conversation. Is he the only living thing here?
I sort of like looked to the creature, like he didn't understand Cypress, I'm assuming, but it's almost as if I'm looking to him to confirm as I'm repeating some of the things he said, just in case he wants to correct me. And it seems there was a battle here. Some larger entities, possibly divine in nature, and perhaps smaller, more mortal creatures such as us. Mortal-esque. But the creatures made of many eyes, multiple creatures, apparently, tend to congregate towards the center.
Did they do all this?
I looked to the creature, Ladon. Was that what you?
Mm-hmm.
Ladon.
Sure, lay down sounds fine.
And it was like this when you found it, aside from some of the more recent damage in the village.
It was quite the quiet and peaceful place.
But were there still creatures here when you showed up?
No,
Normal, mundane. No?
no. I'm not sure when the strange eye creatures arrived, to be honest. But I also tend to stay in the jungles where there's fruit and food. It's a quiet life, far away.
Wait, he said he saw multi-eyed creatures fighting something. Did he see them get slain by anything? What worked?
I will relay this.
I don't know if it got slain. There were some pieces that broke. One of them, a woman, seemed to have a conversation with the other powerful beings. But I don't know what they were saying. There seemed to be a lot of tension between them. And then the fighting recommenced. And they made a mess of parts of the island, were blowing things up. There was a big storm. The column of water went up. It was a mess. I thought they would never end, and then it got quiet. The beings that came went back into the waters. Creatures that stayed went to the center. I haven't tried messing with it. Didn't seem relevant or important, probably.
As he's relaying this, I think just to make it easier, I would like to try and, I guess, use a slightly off-label version of Minor Illusion to facilitate a bit of an echo of what Ladon is saying for the benefit of everyone else.
Just like minor illusion stick people that are like, yeah.
Well, more so just the sound.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
minor illusion. Gotcha.
Yeah. Just to.
Is that what he sounds
I'm
like?
actually sort of like translating the. Say what?
Is that what he sounds like?
Oh yeah, do you do it in the voice that you're understanding it in?
You know what? Yeah. 'Cause that's
Beautiful.
very fun for me. And I'm just basically what I'm doing just for the sake of flavor is sort of taking my understanding of just have you ever seen a voice when it's being recorded? It got the sort of like the oscillation pattern, like the traveling of a sound wave, and he's just sort of taking that and sort of producing it in a way that everyone else can understand. So that's where you get like almost like a tinniness to it. It's sort of like fast recorded and played. And just so it's easier so everyone can kind of participate in a proxy sort of way.
Okay.
So he didn't see any of these things die. And they all might be congregated in one place.
Seems like.
Well, that's unfortunate. I wonder what we have that they didn't, if anything.
We haven't run into them yet, so we don't know what to think about it.
If Laertes has... when would it have been that you had started using the auditory translation and then projection to us?
As we start getting more into the conversation about the island, the creatures and stuff, because it seems like more people are involved, so it's not just him going like, and you like to eat fruit, okay. So it's when we got the more interesting part of it.
When Ladon mentions Pillar of Water, I sort of perk up and say that this what comes from Atlas, or that is Atlas. That's what she saw in her vision.
Earlier, did we get any of the playback of Astrid's VR walk or no?
Mm-mm.
Just
No.
it's just the message that we got.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Then her in
the way I think your hands are in the way of the microphone or something, Sonder, because
Oh.
you sound muffled or something a
Sorry.
little bit. No, that's okay.
Is that better? Okay.
Yeah, that's better. You basically, yeah, the difference was whenever you inserted it into the device, it kind of interacted with you personally. And then whenever you showed it, it was more of the minor illusion of what you had seen of her talking to as she was like, right, basically filling out her diary. She was wanting the plants,
Yeah.
you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Where did he or he says he like still talking through Laertes, but kind of recognizing he can direct it a little bit more with this additional step. Where did you come from?
Let me change that. Hold on.
For the sake of ease, I'll just be proxying some of
Yeah.
their questions and stuff, just so it's easier.
Before I arrived here, I was in some island that was cold and snowy. That was alright. Then there was a continent that's probably on the other side of the world from here. I've traveled a bunch. I kind of zip wherever my mind sends me.
And as he says that, he there's like a little shift, and he just kind of like zoop, disappears, and then like appears on Cypress's shoulders, zoop, and he just appears over there, and then zoop, and then appears back in Phoebe's hand again.
Great, the blink lizard. That's what the world needs.
A blink lizard with a cat brain.
So happy.
Somewhere, somehow, Kindred is really mad that that's not Malzahar.
For being so well traveled, I'm honored you decided to stay with us. For now.
Do you tell it that?
Hmm.
No, I'm asking Laertes.
I said I would proxy translate.
Okay.
Oh, she's so adorable.
And then she
I actually hold
crawls,
back the playback for just a second.
it crawls up its arms, up Phoebe's arms, and kind of just pats her face, just like.
I'm gonna look at
Let the
them so
recording
like
play at that point, just to.
I don't know if I should be like offended or like this is a compliment.
You
I just
know.
look at you very confused, Themisto.
Which, to that effect, Themisto, what is going on with you right now?
I'm sorry.
Rude.
No, like there's
So
been,
how you doing?
there's been a lot that just like happened. I'm just curious, what is Themisto doing?
So taking it all in, I guess.
Okay. Just curious.
I mean, so there was the mention of this colony. First, she got smooched.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. There's like a lot that's going on.
Then Astrid talked about Atlas. So that, of course, the Misto is like, wait, Atlas is here?
Mhm.
Yes, I think the knowledge cleric part of the Misto has kicked in. And she almost feels if she is back at the temple hearing the stories of priests and the Pythia when she would speak to them, and is really just trying to absorb and understand before she says anything else, because there's a lot being dropped.
Yeah.
Especially, I don't think Phoebe is aware enough to notice, but when she did say to Astrid about Across the Stars, or with a guide from the stars like you are. But I don't think Phoebe would have been conscious enough over here to try to like insight check how you reacted to that. But you finally did hear something.
I was just because you've been quiet for a while, so I was just wondering what the missile was doing while all of these and now they're talking to a little lizard apparently, and so it's been a lot of all of a sudden things. So I was just curious what the missile.
I mean, that's it. There's a bit of information overload going on.
Yeah, I would imagine
right now.
So
oh, go ahead.
Can you ask it if it knew Sarani or Tutrat or Sanoran? Any of those names are familiar? Rhea?
No. When I came here, it was after the fall.
Can you read anything here?
If I wanted to, I guess, but I haven't bothered trying to learn. It's no point. There's no one who lives here anyway.
Fair. I was just wondering if you'd heard or seen the word Atlas. That means anything to you?
No.
You said the column of water went up or out?
Up. But it was shortly before the whole fighting thing began. Storm came in, the waters receded, the water shot up.
When did it fall? How long after that it was gone?
It was only firing up for I don't know, moments. What is time anyway?
For you?
Oh, that's a much bigger question.
Some kind of weird soup, probably.
That is the most excellent way of putting it.
What were we gonna say? Cypress.
You know.
The Muffin Man?
The answer is yes. I need to know, but that was not the. I imagine you don't look for these sorts of things, but do you know? He reaches into his pocket and pulls out just like a gold piece, a silver piece. Have you seen any of this stuff anywhere? And he reaches and like pulls out his sword and shield. Or these things like this?
I have mountains of it back where my small little cave lies. That is so far from here. If I had seen anything like that, I would have taken it back home, but not currently. And all of the things that look like swords and shields carried by the dead men that now litter around the island, it didn't really do them
know
much.
What swords and shields are.
Some of yours.
I don't think they knew how to use them very well.
Depends.
Aaron?
Yes.
Okay.
Since I've been using a spell to communicate with this creature quite in a literal sense, that I understand each and every word and nuance and intended meaning, I'd like to do an insight check. I'm not even really sure what I'm trying to learn. The player has ideas, but I'm trying to think, like, Larity's just like, what are you?
No. Make an insight check.
Is he a fiend or is he a cat?
I think he's just an actual
Yes.
dragon.
It's just a cat.
Not terrible. 15.
Exactly, Smoggles. Exactly. How dare he? 15. Yeah,
I
would,
checked. He's not divine.
I would definitely say that it is. It seems confident in what it knows,
Mm-hmm.
but it does have a personality that is much bigger than its tiny self.
Does the I still like the meme of when you see the cat sitting in a giant dent on a roof somewhere, and it's just when the dragon used polymorph, but it doesn't quite take. Does Phoebe's body just sort of slowly crumples as the weight of this not dragon crusher?
His ego is pretty huge.
I'll leave it at that. That's fun for me.
Panther. Oh, go ahead. What were you gonna say, Astrid?
Sorry. Your home, is it on Terra
Terum.
I believe she means to ask if you're from this world or another.
Oh, no, I'm from here. I was born here.
Have
one of
you
the-
known others from somewhere else?
Of my kind?
Anyone?
Oh, sure. I come from a long line of, I come from a line of divine beings. We are worshipped where I come from. They feed us, they make paintings of us, murals. It's quite nice, actually. I would say you should visit, but I'm not able to take anything this large, and honestly, you're kind of more primitive than the people there, so probably it would be a clash.
Travel there now if you thought about it.
What?
Could you travel there now if you thought about it? And come back? We have this
Sure.
capability.
Go anywhere I want.
Can we travel
On this-
fast?
Here, but anywhere I want here.
Can you travel forward and back in time?
Did she hit her head very hard on something?
I think we're just trying to understand this place and how it works. There's many oddities that don't quite make sense.
She has a very faraway look to her face. Like she's seen stuff.
Does she still have the starry pattern going on with her visage?
Their forehead, it probably would have died down closer to the time that we finished the illusion.
So we would have
I-
seen it walking up, Phoebe and
Yeah.
Thalisto.
Yeah, from outward, and then probably back in.
As Ladon says about the faraway look, I think back the conversation about traveling in seas and stars, and I feel like it's actually a very lovely quality about her. Right.
Say
I
it,
was-
say it.
Go ahead, sorry.
It's fine.
I'm just curious about Phoebe's face journey during all of this. Like, I have this cute little creature that now sounds like a booming Michael Clark Duncan with amused contempt. Maybe not contempt, that's the wrong word. It doesn't seem mean, just, oh, you're cute. You're so vulnerable. I'll take pity and protect
Condescension.
kind of thing. Like how is that making her feel? Like, did she go from being like, oh,
No, I don't think it's that. I think there's still a lot of wonder. And if you're studying Phoebe, there's still something else under the focus of this that's hard to like repress, even with all of the journey of watching this creature and getting to interact and talk with it. But I think the creature, it's just a lot of like wonder. Because again, she hasn't seen a mummified body yet, so.
Well, so what do we do now, everyone? Not to cut this conversation with this divine being short.
Demisto, do you have any questions for Ledon?
I do not. I think there has been much that has been learned, which is good, but there is still a lot to explore here. And the notion that this was a place where people from beyond the firmament lived, it's hard to fathom. But it is interesting.
Beautiful, Mister. I wish I could show you. There are others that lived here that could provide more clues to what happened. We should try to visit the other buildings. Then Atlas. And she'll point to the mountain.
What is this Atlas that you've been describing?
She described it as...
The man himself.
No, not the man. I thought as well this was a man, but that mountain, that is Atlas. This structure, the firmness that powers this place, that holds up the world. It was described as an engine. I don't know what that is.
Did Astrid relate that it was like a vision that she saw of all of this?
She spoke to the servitor, and that is what she told her.
It was also in the voice recording that we got.
Yeah, in the beginning.
Yes, I think it's important to Themisto how it has been framed by Astrid. And I missed the first bit of the conversation when we first showed up.
True, yeah.
So
then Astrid would have explained it as, aside from the recording and hearing the name, like the Atlas engine talking to Rhea, she would have explained like that Rhea explained to her that the structure, the mountainous looking thing that created the water column was Atlas. And when she tried to, when Astrid tried to ask as if it were a he, the creature was confused. And when framed as an it, is when it made sense to the creature. Where Astrid realized that, Atlas was not a person. Yeah.
okay, and so you're speaking as if you learned this direct from Rhea, and not that you had gone on like a vision,
Yeah.
like okay. We must learn more from the spirit if we can.
Perhaps there is more to Atlas than we think. Maybe there's a mind, soul connected to it.
That could make sense. The way Gaia lives in the earth.
We found the servitor, her body, in the building there. And those crystals that I use in my device showed me her memories, allowed me to speak to her.
as if it was a vision. It's a very difficult thing to receive the visions from the gods. I'm proud of you.
The vision. I don't know if it was from the gods. It felt like I was diving into her mind, her life.
It is something that takes years of training. I can only hope that one day it's as easy for me.
Hurts me. My mind fractures and I fall ill. Maybe you can teach me how I can receive these visions better.
I don't have much experience myself, but I can tell you what the priest and the Pythia have told me to expect. You have to understand that if this is from the gods, then think of everything that their souls contain. It is immense. To try to understand that as us, even with the unique things that we are, it could be impossible for some. She'll just pat your shoulder.
Please.
As they're having this conversation, a little bit of that itch of not having the crystal nearby kind of finally gets to him, and it lifts out of the device for the time being. Because we can always go back to it at some point if we need to. I give a small nod to the divine being, in heavy quotes, but polite. And I try to slink off to find Penthos, who had kind of stepped out of the circle. And how does he look when I walk up to him? Kind of just staring down the path? Is he...
I didn't want to interrupt earlier, but Penthos has walked off significantly far.
Into the village
Oh.
or away from the village?
Into the village. If we do like a
Insight?
little playback, it's like, gnarled bark, where like nature is reclaiming
Mm-hmm.
all of the structures. He is sometimes just pressing a hand there, repeating the words that he recognized, and is just kind of struggling in this old kingdom language, and then just like gets moments of frustration and like claws at it, trying to reveal something there. And this is repeated like dozens of times throughout this conversation. Had no real interest in Peneladon, was just frustrated, full of mourning and loss, and trying to understand what memory means and that relationship to Lethe. And so I think for everybody else, where there was a feeling of this kind of feeling of loss, you don't really realize it, but you acclimated to Penthos being around. And I think as you kind of notice that he's not around you anymore, you realize that, like, wow, it is so much lighter here. And so I think what has happened is he's done all this and he's gone far, but he's tried to climb. Like, if there's a structure,
Mhm.
probably like 2 or 3 down,
Mhm.
that there is a like ceiling access or roof access, I think he would have tired himself out just trying to find a reprieve for like mental anguish. So to Laertes' question, it's he's hard to miss. So you can probably see like a little blue dot up ahead, given I don't run into like any problems or anything like that.
No, just the quiet wind that rustles through the trees.
But he's far.
There is plenty of spaces where the water has pooled into like little like water, almost like water features that have now long been abandoned as the creek runs along. There are some buildings that are, for all intents and purposes, just like skeletal in the way that they just exist as like walls, bare blasted windows. There's not really much internally to them, as if all of it had just been washed away on the inside and just leaving the structure behind. Some of them are boarded up and covered with debris, so it is not hard to find a a way to get up to the rooftop of one of them. You can kind of just clamber over some of the collapsed buildings. I would say you do walk around a deep blasted furrow in the ground where it looks like, just like before, the place that you had seen under the water where something had been like impacted and like ran through. You do find one of those here. And then beyond it, you can see this really large, massive tree that recently was toppled over, and it looks like it was broken at a weird height. It's not like a low cut, like someone had chopped it down. It was like almost mid-range up, that it had just been like, looks like shattered, and the top of the tree had fallen over. And you can see that the creek is now running through the leaves as it continues towards the center. But yeah, say if Laertes, like, I would say as the conversation was going, you would probably at least be aware that Penthus had gone in that direction, and then having like done a little bit of Where's Waldo, you can kind of see him on top of one of the buildings.
So a giant blue furry dot amongst the green and dilapidated gray. Are you up on a structure or ground floor? What's the...
Yeah, just on a roof, kind of looking toward the center.
Okay. I can't go up there, so I kind of just sort of greet him from the ground, and all I can think of is an episode of The Office. And just, are you okay up there?
Do you find comfort in what you remember, even if it hurts?
So above the table, it's been established that Tanthos sort of seems to amplify negative feelings, quote unquote negative feelings.
Sure. It's a good way to put it.
He does think back to his childhood, the loss of his mother, how it's affected him. But he also thinks of all the things that she gave to him. Loss reminds us of things worth having. Forces us to try as hard as we can to keep it. Adds value.
There will be a long pause. And he'll kind of pivot from the conversation with just kind of a nod, accepting the information, but not sure what to do with it.
Mhm.
Did you find anything else out from the creature?
Mm. Building on suppositions, we know we have to go to the center of the island. That much was already clear. But more of those many-eyed creatures appear to be congregating there. There was some calamitous battle above, and he looks down at the lacerated ground all over the island.
Do you think that there were any survivors nearby from the battle, waiting to give it another go?
From what I understand, it was a bit of a stalemate. There were those that were injured, but able to leave, go in their separate way. Perhaps biding their time or figuring out what to do next.
Lethe told me in my vision that the gods would help us when the time came. But even that is blurry.
Hmm.
I do not want to fail you, Laertes, or any of them. I cannot remember all the times that I have failed.
Failure isn't anything to be ashamed of. Failure is what teaches us to be better. You don't learn anything by always succeeding.
Knowledge, the value it gives. On one side of the scale, what you learn at risk of the stakes of failure, where we lose and just looks around at just the unbelievable loss around us. I will do my best to try to tell you what I know and remember. Like the words that this past individual passed on to us. And kind of go through the three that were mentioned and what I can recall them meaning, especially the kind of deep meanings of Bahiri itself.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of set dressing, I'm on the ground and he's up on this roof.
Yeah.
Is okay. To bridge the gap as he starts to speak, would it be all right if I come up? Or do you want to keep a bit of distance?
You are so weak. I'll come down.
Right as he says that, I'm gonna do the very unoptimal thing of I slowly begin to lift off the ground. And I don't quite Air Jordan it over, but I kind of gracefully controlled lift into the air turn and just sort of let myself drop down next to him, sitting. And I just say to him, if you want to listen to people, you have to go to where they are.
I want to confirm something just above the table real quick. Astrid, did you mention the kind of fractal sky and the water pillar?
Yeah, I would have said to Cypress.
Okay, I was around there then.
Also marking up a spell.
What it was that you used?
Just levitation.
Okay. So I figured. I just well, it was a neat image.
I'm gonna unhook the kind of kinetic whale bobble. Do you remember on the ship where we made the whales in the sky? I always thought they were flying. Some fun magic for a child. But now I know they were still swimming.
This place unlocks something for you.
Yes, it did. But I do not have words for it yet. And that pains me because I feel that it is unhelpful. I can only remember that there was, and because it is not anymore, the loss of it not being.
It's all right if you don't have the words now. Truth is sometimes an admission that you don't have the right words, that you don't quite understand it, that you're on the path to trying to do so.
He'll kind of chuckle to himself. Before I met all of you, I did not concern myself with words. I did not have a chance to share these thoughts. And now there are so many. And they mean so much. And kind of looks like 1,000 yards there to the center of the island. I am here to guide, and I am lost.
Can I show you something I do when I'm struggling with a problem? I don't quite know how to wrap my mind around it.
He'll kind of cheat towards you, to use a theater term.
He closes his eyes for a moment, interlaces his fingers, and as he waves his hands through the air, that same pattern creates a chessboard in the air, made of light, much like the same color as shows in his eyes. Give yourself another problem to focus on, so you can let the other half of your mind work. Would you like to have a game?
In Old Kingdom, he will say, yes.
And I kind of just spin the board in the air. Pick a side.
He will choose and he will play.
And I'll leave it at that.
Beautiful. The Misto, Phoebe, Astrid, and Cypress, and Landon. I'm gonna call them Landry's, and I was well, it almost popped in my head, and it's like a seafood restaurant that's around here. Well, that's not Landry's.
It's not Landon, it's Laydon.
Oh, Laydon. That's right.
But his real name is Langan.
you guys watch as Laertes goes deeper into the village. Do you guys follow? Just start exploring around some of the wrecked places.
Yeah, it's not a precise follow, but it's
Yeah. Just
we should do as the scholar does and learn more of this place firsthand.
Yeah.
I want to walk right next to Themisto and quietly talk to her as we walk.
Okay. Well, hold on.
Made a really cool map.
I made a map. I'm going
Neat.
to put it up here so that everybody can see what I did.
Dude, that is rad.
So as of right now,
Oh.
this is the large rock that's splintered from the main section, right? It is floating up really high, but obviously this is not a topographical map, and therefore I cannot really show that so much. But if this was to fall, because it is more pinnacle-like, it would cover this section if it fell. But right now it just stands sheared upwards. Yes, it's a cinnamon roll. What? It is a cinnamon roll. It's a really old, crusty cinnamon roll. This here, actually, you know what? The map's gonna go away for a second. Because I'm going to send.
We paid for blood.
I'm going to send you guys in our group chat the image so you guys can look at it maybe on your phones or whatever. You can see a better picture of it. But then I'll keep the map cam up. But okay. Then okay, so I'm bringing the camera over. This here, that's marked as 7. That is Rhea's dome, right? This is the little shack that you had found Ladon in. Here is a blast furrow that had wrecked a couple of buildings. So there's like a corner here and some corners here that still stand, but most of the building has collapsed in on itself. Further up, here's the tree that Penthos could see that was like broken and had fallen into the creek. And then the village continues on. Mind you, there's probably a lot more. It's a lot more trees, but if I had drawn all the trees, you wouldn't really be able to tell where the buildings were. So I just did a few. And it continues on, and the mountain is further beyond that direction, but you can just see more trees and stuff, and then mountain far beyond. Oh, look, there's a mountain right there. It's definitely not an ironing board. We'll say that currently Penthos and Laertes are in this building over here. So they'll be in 11. I have them all labeled as numbers. Did you guys want to split up and go to a couple of them? Or are you going to go together as a group?
Let's split up, gang.
I know
Split
Astrid,
party.
Astrid wanted to go to the power plant, the direction that Rhea had pointed to.
I'll go
power
with
plant?
Astrid.
I'm going to tell you right now, the power plant or that direction she had pointed at was the
way
room. Well, no, was the room that Themista and Phoebe had been in.
Oh, okay.
But we didn't know what the heck it was,
Yeah.
and if you said the word power plant to Themisto, it would mean nothing to her.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
An
Yeah.
energizing
her.
foliage.
No, but yeah, no.
Kind of plant.
But just so that you know, when she pointed that direction, she would have pointed basically directly across at that building there. So you can definitely go and take a look, see around, see what you can find, if that's what you would like to do.
If they've been in there already,
Yeah, but
I
they
think she
didn't
was
know.
looking. Yeah.
Two different kinds of eyes,
Yeah, Astrid has different context. It's like you got to bring the right character to
Yeah.
trigger the cutscene.
Ugh, reload.
All right, we'll check it out.
Saves come to location.
All right, so it'll, Penthos and Laertes there. Cypress, you said you were gonna go with Astrid.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll put you over here with her.
Demis, you pick.
Me pick. I was gonna have you pick.
No, you. No, you.
Oh god, it's starting.
Oh, I can't tell if that's a. Hold on, let me pull up an actual picture so I can zoom in.
Yeah.
Let's go to 9.
9. Sweet. Beautiful.
But I would like to have a conversation on the walk to 9.
Go for it.
The Mr. Are you alright? Also, I'm sorry I ran out earlier.
You caught me off guard, but it was nice. As to if I'm alright, a lot happened very quickly. So where should I start?
I've heard the beginning is a very good place.
Alright, so from the beginning then. When we get out of here, we're somewhere safer. Would you perhaps want to go to see a play with me or something like that?
I would love to.
Good.
Aaron, can I say for flavor that as that question is asked, Phoebe begins to glow a little bit. It's almost like the blush is so much it's coming out into the like sunlight.
Sure. I love it.
This is a. The Mister's gonna change the conversation now that there's been a date agreed to. This place is so curious to me. The things Astrid experienced, it's a lot to think about. Travelers from another world, but they weren't the gods. It's amazing to think other people came from beyond the stars.
To see the way that Astrid seems to be coming into herself as she learns more and more. Though the idea is unsettling, it is beautiful to watch her discover who she is.
It is, I agree with that.
Though it certainly changes every story we've ever been told about where we come from. And if we come from them or if they found us here.
It is a strange thing to ponder. I thought that we were the center of it all, and the gods watched over it, and perhaps they still do, but there's so much more things that, I have questions when we return to Jerez and Mercate.
Whatever they do in their purview, they listen to you. We've seen that. There is no untruth there. That part has not changed.
If our Capitanius needs my help to understand these visions, I will do the best I can. The nature of this place, though, it makes me wonder if I'm really equipped to do so.
We were brought together, whether by divine beings, and if she says that, she's gonna like look a little bit at later on as well, or if it was fate, some kind of force larger than our own world. We've been brought together for this. I think you have the gifts that are needed for this. I
That we
certainly
are,
could not be here without you.
that we are here for a reason, and that we are here together. I know that was the gods.
As you're walking to this place, you see that the building looks a lot larger, and in the front of it, it looks like there had been like maybe like a small balcony or a small porch that is now filled with water. You can see these really gently carved oh my god, what is the word I'm looking for? These gently carved like arches that kind of come to a point. If I'll post, there's a picture of this particular image that is in my head, and I will post it in the campaign art here in a little bit. This building carries with it an architecture that looks like it was grown and carved very gently from stone, unlike any of the other ones that are surrounding it. You can see a door that is part stone, it looks like, or almost like petrified wood kind of thing, is just kind of somewhat cracked open. And I'm assuming you try and go inside as you guys are talking.
Can you imagine the skill it took to make something like this? It's like they had spoken the stones into following their will.
It's beautiful.
Though not the most beautiful thing here.
No, it isn't. And then
The room is dark beyond, but you step in carefully into the room. Oh God, Alvy, I love you. Astrid and Cypress at the same moment as like these two are adventuring out. Astrid, I need you to make a history check for me. You're muted. Make a history check for me.
Am I muted?
Oh no,
okay.
there you are.
Okay. 17.
There's this strange after image as you and Cypress cross the very shallow stream here to the other side where the building that Themisto and Phoebe had left from. It's like being able to see what you had seen earlier in that brief moment when you had looked through time and space, it felt like, and seeing what this place had once been, and you had seen the people kind of walking around, and you look at the ruins, ruins, yes, but the shells of what this place used to be, right? And it's that odd feeling of like walking in a cemetery because you know that people used to live here and do things here, and you see that the building you're approaching has the appearance of like a water wheel that is set into the water, but is currently jammed up with brush and debris and some stone that's kind of keeping it from moving. And you remember in your vision that had not been the case, and that it had been slowly rotating with the passing of the water.
Is Lertis with me?
No, it's just you and Cypress.
Hi.
You got some muscle with you.
Yes.
Can you help me clear this up?
Absolutely.
There's
Make-
something I just want to say.
Both of you make strength checks for me.
Strength check. Athletics?
Yeah.
8.
21.
18.
Beautiful. Both of you pass. Working together carefully, you are able to move some of the larger collapsed pieces of roof that had fallen down, some long dried and petrified wood and brush that had like wrapped itself around the wheel. And very slowly, it starts to spin with the water. Slower at first as the old joints are now being reused, but it still starts to move.
This place belonged to a person named Sarani. It's just their home. She could control aspects of nature. She was an engineer on Atlas.
This is all so above me. But I'm here for it.
You hear a slight vibration, rumble, hum come from within the building. Do you go inside?
I'm gonna go inside.
Let's go.
You go inside and you can see the... It's still light outside, so it's not like it's super dark inside of the room itself. But as you are going in, on the far back wall closest to where that wheel is spinning and attached, there is another one of those odd 45-degree angle tables that don't make much sense. And you see that the surface of the table is kind of starting to glow from beneath this rocky surface or the dirty surface.
I'll have to Misto, not the Misto, almost. I'll have Astrid, just kind of like.
It's like when your mom calls every
Thought you were
sibling to
referring
get
to
to you at
me
the bottom.
I thought you were referring to me again with like I have the Misto or Laertes or whomever it's
Whoever the fuck you are.
Yeah, she'll kind of just try to clear out that rubble and dust with a swipe of her hands.
You see a smooth surface that has glowing arcane sigils that are below it, all written in what you assume to be Bahiran or Old Kingdom.
shoot.
Make an intelligence check for me. Oh my god, I was gonna say Themisto, Astrid. It's just because I look over here and I see the names, and that's the first name that I see.
Through intelligence.
Yeah, because we use like either like an Arcana for this.
Ooh, 5.
5. You don't know what they say or what they could mean, but there's one that's kind of flashing, just like a gentle glow. It's like boom, boom, boom,
Touch
boom, boom.
Oops.
And you hear a buzz coming from the room. And parts of the ceiling, this plain ceiling, begin to glow around the edges. The seam, it's like the seam of the roof that begins to glow. Laertes, Penthos, as you guys are playing on the rooftop. Even as we'll say the sun is beginning to kind of set, it's already set from your viewpoint, so you're in the shadow of the canyon now. But in this dimmer afternoon light, there begins to be glows coming from various structures. As power has been restored to the settlement, and lights that haven't been lit for 1,000 years bring us aged semblance of ruined life to a long dead civilization. The rooftop that you're at, like you can see some of the other houses across the way just begin to kind of glow with life from within. Either they're broken and cracked doors, or even from like what appears to be like faded windows that have been covered and caked in dust and vine. You can see this light start to glow. And as that is happening, Themisto, and I was gonna just say Dreamy. You, Themisto, and Phoebe.
I was gonna say, what's my name, Aaron?
Where are the brain?
Whatever
is
everyone's name is.
Themisto and Themisto too.
Themisto.
You can just say Phoebe at this point.
The gals.
Yeah, the gal pals.
Minus Astrid.
Correct.
Historians will say they were good friends.
We'll say that as you guys are walking in and kind of your eyes are adjusting to the darker space, there is a sudden hum that starts from around the room. And you know those places that have recessed lights, so it's like pieces of the wall that come out and the lights are on top of it, so it begins to show off like the walls. This room, or this abode that you're in, has a very cathedral-like feeling to it, as these recessed lights shine a dim glow across the domed and cathedral-shaped ceiling. And it appears that the architecture goes beyond just mere beautiful arches that you have not seen before. The inside, very much, I would say probably Themista, and probably Phoebe too, you have heard and probably seen examples of the way Kemet does their hieroglyphics, where they tell stories with pictures on walls, with beautiful paints. And even in ancient Greece, they had in the Hellenes, they have that same sort of like painted murals on walls and beautiful statues. This is along those lines. A relief carved and molded out of stone. There is not a single trace of line or chisel mark. It is as if the walls themselves had bubbled forth life. And not just any life, but a story that is being told here. And you kind of like gasp at the
Themisto marvels at this place.
at the vision that you are seeing here. You see, using symbology, I'm going to see how much of this you try to interpret. Themisto, make a religion check for me.
Can I make a roll as well? I don't know if it would be
Sure.
religion for Phoebe, but well, maybe she grew up in a temple.
Mm-hmm.
16.
Okay. 16. Beautiful.
Artificial 20.
Very nice. Just over the doorway that you entered, you see a circle. And it looks like it's covered in water. A world, an ocean perhaps, a disk with brilliant rays of light that extend outwards. Moving down from it, you see shapes that look like pyramids, rectangles, oddly shaped. They could you almost for a moment imagine them to be vessels on the sea, but missing sails or oars. But the shapes are similar. And it looks like constellations are traced across parts of the wall. And you see this large, spiraling geometric shape. And those same shapes floating above them. and you continue on, and you see several more of these large geometric swirling galactic, well, for us we know as galaxies, but these swirling shapes. And what looks like a fire that is slowly crossing all of them, chasing them from across the one side of the room to the other. At least it looks like fire. There is no color to this. There's just stonework. But it seems to have like tendrils and movement like fire, as it just covers the entirety. And then on the opposite wall, wreathed in this black fire, or tendrils, whatever you want to call it, several more orbs. Each of those orbs inlaid as gems. And I need both of you to make either perception or investigation check for me as well.
Do I get the impression that, based on my religion roll, that this fire is a life-giving representation or a thing that these ships were fleeing from?
They were fleeing from.
You got a 22 on
22?
perception.
I'm gonna have to rely on Phoebe for this one. I rolled 12.
12. Phoebe, you recognize the gems that are up in the wall as similar in shape and design to the ones that Astrid and Laertes have been fiddling with. But these are cleverly disguised as ornamentation up on the ceiling. And they glisten with the lighting that is now lit the interior.
I think these gems might tell the whole story. This feels like a sacred place.
It is. It must certainly be. I remember when we met Eris and Mistress Agate, they mentioned that Astrid's people guided them here. The gods. It looks like they were running from something. And no wonder they spoke of her people with such reverence.
How high up on the wall are these murals, the stonework?
Probably about 15 feet.
Okay. So like too high to like reach up and like trace it?
Yeah.
Okay.
You'd have to like jump up and climb.
You think this is the story of Astrid's people?
Of her people, of the gods, and
All of it.
is the gods are the keepers of us too. Themisto is actually tearing up a little bit looking at all of this.
I think if we brought Astrid and Laertes here, maybe they could read these gems the way that they read Rhea's story.
Yes, perhaps. Themisto finds herself at a loss for words, and her eyes are big, just taking in everything in this space.
I'll take Themisto's hand.
She
This,
takes it back.
we're part of something much larger and much grander. And right now, that does not make me afraid. Perhaps it will when we see what are on these gems, what they ran from, but this is magnificent.
It is truly. We are so blessed to see these sights that we are seeing now. To have with us people who can explain it. It's. It is a miracle. Does in this place that is either a cathedral or a museum of some kind, is there anything that looks to Themisto to be an altar?
There is a pedestal on the far side of the rectangular shaped room. You kind of can come in from like one side of it. So it does kind of have mausoleum energy kind of thing where you kind of come in from one door, but it kind of extends in a rectangle out the other side, and the one furthest away. And probably, I'd say you're probably about this point standing in the center of the room. You see that on that far wall, there is what looks like a column that is broken in half, but it's not even broken. It's just doesn't complete.
Themisto is still holding Phoebe's hand, is going to pull that direction. We can't leave this place without making an offering. We have to.
Of course. And Phoebe, who, despite being besties with the god and being raised in a temple, has not been particularly religious as of late, feels that this place deserves that level of honor.
You, Phoebe, feel Ladon's head turn the way you came.
Now look behind.
Laertes, Penthos, as you are sitting on the top of the village, the air has already been quiet. But now you hear a noise. Penthos, your ears pick it up first. And your head turns towards deeper into the village. You hear the sounds of something moving. Lots of somethings. Many little feet clicking, clacking, and clambering over rocks. Do you look around, try and see what you can see?
I will reach through the magical chessboard as Laertes is about to make a move. Kind of grab like your full like fist. My fingers are kind of like up your wrist. It's just I don't break your hand. I could. I just want that to be known. But just grab it.
Oh, just being a toxic male, I get it. Cool, great.
And I will look at you just so piercingly, dart my eyes toward the direction of the sound. Not investigate it. Just know that there is sound and a lot of it. And I will scoop him up and hop down, like through the broken roof. I think you said it was like a skeletal kind of structure.
Yeah, this one, yeah.
So I'm just going to muffle the descent,
Yeah.
as it were.
I got reverse King Kong.
Truly romantic.
What are you doing so high up? Come down.
And I'm going to, when I get to the ground floor, I'm going to put my mouth right up against your ear and just say, like, breathing, talking, like a good like theater whisper kind of. So, feet, mini. And I'm going to put you back down, but kind of like big hand on your spine, like move you along toward. It's a very obvious.
Towards
noise,
Jaws,
music.
apparently.
Yeah, toward a great white shark. Toward not the center of the island, but
Those
back toward
blasted
where
land
everybody
sharks.
else is.
Yeah, I would say as you were sitting, you're aware of where everybody had kind of like
Okay, great. That was my
gone to.
next question. Yeah.
Yeah, because you have a vantage point. You had kind of seen like Themisto and Phoebe talking as they went into the building that was like across the way from you, kind of.
Sure. So Phoebe and Themisto are the closest, if I recall
Yes.
the map correctly.
Yes.
So we're going to do that, and then the only time that I'm going to look the direction, not for specificity, but if I see a visual, is just crossing the street, which I believe I have to do.
Pretty
I don't know
across
if
the
there's
stream.
like a tree trunk or anything that will obviously block the view, but if there is, you utilize it. But it's more of the essence of speed.
Right.
And I don't want to like take agency away from Larity, so feel free to like go like, fuck that, I don't want to do that. But it's more so just I'm faster than you, so I'm like helping you along if you trust me to do so.
Yeah. When you have made it clear that there is, basically the danger sense has gone off, it's
That's the feature name.
he puts his own ego aside very, very quickly and just like we get down in giggity. No time, and as you kind of start ushering him along and he's trying to figure out where everyone else is, how does that skittering feel like it's getting closer?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There's that sense of he's reaching into that local space, much in the same way that when we are near technology from the old kingdom, there's that sort of almost like electrical vibe in the air that's kind of hard to describe. And as his hand sort of weaves through the air, there's a latent sense of that hovering nearby as if he's getting ready to do something.
As you guys are crossing a low section, there's like a couple of rocks that have made like a little stepping stone section where you can cross the stream quickly towards where you saw Themisto and Phoebe enter. What were you gonna say, Penthus?
Yeah, just kind of logistics here. Laertes is going to be on my left side, so that my kind of full body is covering his. Also, I would mention that absolute fear of mystery skitters is a very sad feeling. So once I get within, we'll say like 30 feet of Themisto and Phoebe, Themisto 2, excuse me. You guys will like re-encounter, but with no acclamation, an incredible amount of, hair standing on end. Like, you ever see Spider-Man, was it Far From Home? I think, where he has that moment of like the Green Goblin has, there's a problem. It's just a sudden awareness that something is absolutely not right before we arrive.
Okay. You look back the way you came, and you see the tree that has collapsed into the creek, into the oh my god, what are the words escape me? The brook. Yeah, the creek, whatever, that thing. The branches and leaves begin to like shake and move as if something's coming through them.
Don't like that.
And emerging from the leaves and crawling across the ground, you see several large, giant black spiders. But these are not just enlarged creatures. They
Oh, they're large.
ooze a blackness to them. Like they almost smoke, and the smoke dissipates like steam, like something that's super hot. It just kind of steams behind them as they come crawling in your direction.
Speak Draconic.
I play Animal Friendship on my lyre. I got this. No. Okay, so I see this. as
Yeah,
we're,
they're
like, crossing the
they're-
street.
Yeah, they're probably like 100 feet from you, but they're visible. But they're coming this direction where you guys are at.
Okay. Gonna do a stupid thing. Laertes, my friend. 3. Warn the others, and I'm going to push you far, like toward where we were going. DM, I would like to rage and go like diagonal, like toward them, but back the other way.
Nice. All right. Well, as you do that, and you rage, and Laertes stumbles towards the door where Themisto and Phoebe are within, and Astrid and Cypress, you're walking out of the building, seeing now a lit village. You hear I would say there is just this sense, Astrid and Cypress, of unease in the air, as if something was off.
We pressed the wrong button.
There is a mist, by the way, just for flavor. There is like a light purple mist that kind of takes the form of these little skeletal servitors as he like looks in that direction.
Nice. And it is with that we will end for tonight. Ooh.
Wait, next week's the week we're not playing.
Potentially. We'll see what happens. I'm still fighting it.
Good, do you think you shall have a say?
Yo, this village is lit. Oh no, Hannah, you did a thing. Why did you do the thing? Oh no. Beautiful. Oh
Brook
man.
Swords, no Brook shields.
Beautiful. Alrighty, guys. Well, woo! That was fun and exciting. Yeah. Well, here's to
This
another.
was my last session.
He runs off into the sunset and is immediately
Past the
consumed.
spiders.
Past the spiders.
I'm
Just
getting
keeps-
out of here.
Just keeps running.
I didn't know
We
that
see
there was
him like
danger.
run into the waterfall and not be messed up by it. Just
I expect the spiders to speak in one voice. We are Pop-Tart.
That we have come from.
And we are hungry.
Yeah, right. Thank you, Hannah. It was great having you guys in chat today.
Thank you, Raiders.
Thank you, Raiders.
Yeah, my homies.
The homies.
Yee.
That was nice. of them.
Wait, where's my thing here? Yes, Old World Charm. Thank you for coming and raiding. Thanks for the new follows.
Don't push Laertes, his bones.
I love it.
Falls forward.
you push him too hard, and he snaps like at the waist. Just
Mm-hmm,
Like Bella.
Alrighty, guys.
Oh, he
Well,
is Bella then. Oh.
Yeah, lots of fun. Foxtrot! Good to see you. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We will see you very, very soon. We'll post things, you know. But yeah, I'll post some of the
Let me
image.
drop Discord so we can point
Oh,
people
yeah.
to the art and the events.
Oh
do.
yes, exactly that. But until then, you know, stay fey, be brave, and the safe word is mango. We'll see you later.